Hey guys, super excited today. We got our announcement for MSTY, and also we've got to check out the movement on MSTY as well. Stick around, we're going to check it out. Hello my friends, this is Legend. Today, YieldMax Group D announced their distributions, and MSTY, of course, is in Group D. And I was actually pleasantly surprised, even though it wasn't as high as what we've seen, but it was definitely higher than I expected. So it's kind of one of those plan for the worst and hope for the best. And in this case, we come out somewhere in the middle. So I was actually quite pleased with it, considering Mr. has been having some low volatility over the past month. So let's just slide right over to check out to see what the payouts will be for the Group D ETFs. All right, so here we are on the sheet that is emailed out if you are on their contact list. And if you're not, you can do that on the website. And I did a video previously showing how to do that. But you just simply do the contact us on the website, fill the form out, and the next thing you know, you're receiving emails from YieldMax of any new upcoming ETFs releasing or the distribution payouts like this one here. And you'll receive the groups, of course, every Wednesday, but you'll also receive the payouts for the other ones, which are on different days as well. So let's just go ahead and see what the distributions for Group D will be. Now, today is the announcement day. Tomorrow will be the X date. Okay, so that will be July the 3rd. And then the payment date will be the 7th. Normally it's on Friday, but Friday being a holiday means since the market will be closed, they will not pay out until Monday. So keep that in mind. Let's just quickly go through these. We've got the weeklies first of CHPY paying out 42 cents, GPTY paying out 31 cents, LFGY with 46 cents. I tell you, they just love that 45 to 49 cents area, and that ends up putting them at that 60% distribution rate. Very nice. QDTY 16 cents, RDTY 23 cents, SDTY 16 cents, ULTY with 9 cents. I know that's a shocker, right? That has been pretty much 9 cents for quite a while, but that does put them up about a 80% distribution rate, which is actually very good. The dollar amount you're looking at 9 cents don't sound like much, but percentage-wise, it's actually quite high, considering the price of the ETF itself. But of course, that price of that ETF is one of my issues that I still have issues with. It just being so low, I do always have in the back of my mind of that reverse split. But the payouts on Ulti has been actually quite nice percentage-wise according to the actual price of the ETF. We got YMAG at 5 cents. Ouch. That one is pretty low. That's only a 19% distribution rate, but 5 cents, that's pretty low. We got YMAX at 15 cents. I'll take that. I like it better in the 20s, but I'll take that 15 cents. That puts it at a 60% distribution rate. That's pretty good. AIYY with 16 cents. It's a 47% distribution rate. Now these are all every 4 weeks. Okay, so the previous were weekly. Now this starts the every 4 week payouts. Then we have AMSI with 59 cents. That's 46% distribution. Aptly with 26 cents. DISO with 41 cents. And the one we're all waiting for, MSTY with $1.23. Nice. Now I know a lot of you are probably not too happy with it because it is lower than previous ones, but I don't know. I'm kind of excited because I was afraid it was going to be under $1. So when I saw that $1.23, I'm here to tell you, I was quite excited with it. Now that puts it at a 77% distribution rate, which that's not too shabby at all. And considering the volatility of MSTR has been low, guys, this is great. That's a great distribution. And that's my opinion. And everybody has their own, right? SMCY with $1.61. Nice. And that's a 101% distribution rate. Very nice on that one. We got Winter with $1.85. That's a 65% distribution rate. XYZY with 43 cents for a 56% distribution rate. And YQQQ with 23 cents. So I know the MSTY was not $1.50 or $2 or $4 or whatever, but I still am very excited about that payout because it was much higher than I thought it was going to be. So coming up next week, we will start the groups back over to Group A, and those will be the same weekly payers along with BRKC, Crash, Feet, Fivey, GUI, OARC, Snowy, Tesla, TSMY, Zomo, and YBit. So now that we've gone through the distributions for Group D and I've expressed my excitement for MSTY at $1.23, let's also slide right over to the chart and let's just take a look to see what MSTY did today. Because as you know, a couple days ago, we had that big green candle that I did a video on. And then yesterday we had that big red candle. So it was just kind of basically the opposite of the one before. And what did it do today? Well, that's a question. So let's just check it out. And here we are, MSTY. Check it out. Look at this. Whoa. Oh, man, I tell you. Now, yesterday we did have that big red candle. And I imagine some of you might have actually purchased some shares as it did get as low as $20.89. But look at today. It opened at $21.35. It had a low of $21.24, and it went as high as $22.17 before closing at $22.10. Man, love it. Check it out. That is awesome. Super excited. And the reason I'm so excited about that price being up is because come tomorrow, the distribution will come out of the price of this stock. So $1.23 will come out of this price here. Now, this does not take into account any kind of aftermarket movements, overnight movements, or pre-market movements, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. That $22.10, I can punch that in on the calculator right here at $22.10, and we can subtract off that $1.23. So we're looking at a possible opening of $20.87. Now, why does it come out of the price? Because that's just how it works. If you get paid a dividend or a distribution on any ETF or stock, it comes out of the price of the stock. It does not come out of thin air. It comes out of the price of the stock. It always does on any ETF or stock itself, right? It is not just a YieldMax thing. That is on anything. When you get paid a dividend, it comes out of the price of the stock itself on the X date. So it's not just MSTY paying you out of the price of the stock. That's just how dividends and distributions work. Now, like I said, that is $20.87 possible opening tomorrow, but that does not account for any movement. So whatever it does from now to about 4 a.m. in the morning, that price minus the $1.23 will be that price at that 4 o'clock a.m. time, and that's Eastern time. That's when the pre-market starts, and that's when the distribution comes out of the price of the stock. So if, just for the example, if it stays at $22.10 and say it doesn't move at all overnight or after hours here, and it's still this price at that 4 a.m., then that $1.23 comes out of it, and it will open at that 4 o'clock time frame of about $20.87. But if it were to move after hours and it goes to, say, $23, then that $1.23 will be subtracted off of $23. So I hope that makes sense, right? Just wanted to clarify that. But you've got to love this big green candle right there. Check that out. That's exciting, right? I'm going to go ahead and flip it over to the adjusted chart, and let's just see where we're setting on the Bollinger Band and on the RSI. And there we go. We're seeing that we are at the top of that Bollinger Band. So for me, that is not a buy. Now, yesterday, it did drop down below that mid, but for me, it did not necessarily get below the 10. So for me, I would not have looked to be in buying MSTY at that day. But if that price would have been lower than your adjusted average price, then just by buying it, you could actually be lowering your price average of your position and could help you to get more shares and lower your average price. But for me, my average is already pretty low, so anything that I buy is actually going to raise my average. And my goal, of course, is to earn back all of my capital. And at that point, I can use the distributions and purchase more shares with no cost to me, only using the profits then. So that's not a purchase for me, but love that big green candle. I was hoping to stay around that $22 so that whenever that distribution comes out of the price, it would keep us up above this $20.38, as that is the original opening price of MSTY. So let's just check out MSTR. Let's see where it's at. And here we are on MSTR. And as you can see, there we are with that nice big green candle sitting right up there on top, pushing that Bollinger Band on up. Love it. We've got a nice little cross up again. Looks like it came down, it bounced off the signal line, so we are moving up a little bit. We've got a little bit of a green momentum bar with that green volume bar right here. Both all positive signs with that RSI 14 moving up. Again, all good positive signs. Now, what we'd like to see is MSTR to keep moving on up. Get out of this range here, out of this channel, so that we can start increasing that IV or implied volatility so that we can start getting better premium with MSTY. Because the higher the IV is, the more premium that YieldMax Fund Manager can make on the options, and therefore that can help us to earn higher distributions. But we need that volatility, so we need it to get out of this channel and to start moving on back up. But what a move today, right? 7.76% for almost $29 move just today. Very nice. So let's just compare the percentage up to MSTY. Just curious here. 7.76 on MSTR, and MSTY moved up 5.79%. Oh my goodness. $1.21 move just today. That right there covers the distribution. Look at that. Just today alone, we're covering that distribution. That is awesome. Love to see it. Super excited. Of course, we can't close this out until we take a look at Bitcoin. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is so nice. We've broke out of this resistance right here. Now, we haven't confirmed, but we've definitely broke past it, right? So the next candle, we need to be up in here to be above this resistance line to hopefully signal and confirm an upward movement. And then hopefully we can start seeing Bitcoin moving on up. Because if Bitcoin can move on up, then MSTR can hopefully move on up if they would relax a little bit on the purchasing of the shares. But I understand the purchasing of the shares because they see the future of Bitcoin going on up, in that case, buying them at $100,000 a coin is cheap if you're long Bitcoin, right? If you see this going up and up and up, then even buying now is cheap. So it's buy it up now while it's, quote, cheap, and then ride it later, right? So if you keep that in mind, then even when they do go buying more shares and bringing that price of Mr. on down again, that's okay. If we're in it for the long haul, then we're in it for the long haul, right? We're in it and ride this thing on up. When Bitcoin hits 150K and on up, then we'll be happy that we're in Misty and Mr., right? Love it. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. I think I've shown enough excitement for one day. So if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button and smash that like button. It'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.